Still want to argue about how many pictures my 90D takes. I looked up frames per second, right? One frame is one frame a second. So if your camera doing one frame per second, then that's one frame. But if it say 38 frames, that's not 11 frames per second. 38 frames is 38 frames per second. I'm still trying to figure out this camera. Look, my 90D does not do 11 frames per second. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how they feel. I don't care what they think. You can't do the math on what they said. You can't base it off what Canon said. Not when I got the camera in my hand. 11 frames per second, that means it's doing 11 pictures in seconds. And that's not what it does. It does at least 38 pictures. It depends on my ISO. If my ISO low, I might can squeeze 40 out of it, but I see the most I can get is 38. But I'm shooting in C RAW and now RAW. Now, when I'm shooting in RAW, I say it's 25 frames. Let me see. I could put it in RAW. Look, it just clicked already. So in RAW, I'm gonna tell you, when I'm actually in RAW, let's see, my ISO is at 500. When I'm doing RAW files, it's 21 RAW files I can pull. When I'm in C RAW files, there's 38 photos I can pull. I don't know where 11 frames per second come from. Maybe they're just trying to deter you from taking pictures with it. I don't know. But I'm going to keep taking pictures with it because it's my 90D. The 90D is a beast. It's equipped to do everything. Video, photos, touchscreen. I love it. It doesn't do 11 frames per second. I don't care what nobody say. But in RAW, I can squeeze out. Hold on. I'm going to turn my ISO down. But I'd like to keep my speed, though. I like to keep my speed. At 250 in RAW, I can get 23 frames. At 250 DT, which is dynamic, high tone dynamic range, I can't go under 200. If I go under 200, it's honestly gonna go to auto, and I don't shoot auto ISO. Nothing in my camera is auto. Nothing. Not even aperture. I don't use no other setting but manual. And they seem to have a problem with what I'm doing here. But see, that's their problem. It's that biased. And for sports and wildlife, oh, this thing works. This thing works. It spazzes out. It's got a spasm. It's got a bad spasm. When you pulling the files anyways, they say JPEG anyways. So how often do you really get your raw files when you say a JPEG? But I like to shoot raw anyways, just so I get that whole dynamic image.